Welcome to Feagan and Finch, the podcast where we discuss everything football related. I'm Alex Finch.
And I'm Ryan Feagan, here with Alex Finch finally after so long.
Together, the live podcast. Here we are.
Let's talk football.
Let's talk football. The 13th podcast, and we're saving the best topic for the live session. So this week, we'll be discussing the best individual club transfer windows since 2000. So when we're talking about an individual club transfer window, what we're talking about is a summer and winter transfer window for an individual club, and we'll look at which club has had the best individual transfer window since 2000. There's been quite a few, and I think this will be quite good. Everyone loves a bit of transfer gossip at the moment.
We love it here on the Feagan and Finch
Yeah,
podcast.
the Feagan and Finch. We love it.
We love it, Finch.
So why not talk about transfers which has happened in the past? Because this transfer window isn't the best. So let's look at transfer windows which have lit up the world.
Let's do it, Finch. Should we get into it?
Feagan, get going.
Let's do this. Right, I'm going to take you guys back to 2004. Jose Mourinho comes to England. You know, he's fresh off that big Champions League win with Porto. Bit of an underdog story, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yep. He comes to England. He says, I am a special one. I am here to win, and I'm going to do it. And what do you need to win, Finch? You need a great squad. So what does he do? He goes into the market and he picks out some incredible talents that will become Premier League legends. Didier Drogba, Iron Robin, Petr Cech, just to name a few. Absolutely incredible signings, really. And then to go on and win the league in his first season with a record-breaking amount of points.
Unheard of.
You know, he signed Ricardo Carvalho, Petr Cech to partner up John Terry and concede only 15 goals in that season. Something that will never ever be done again. Ever.
We identified the players he needed to win the league, and it wasn't like, okay, Chelsea were a top two team at that point. They were breaking in that top four properly. They were part of the top four, but they weren't a permanent fixture, were they?
No.
So to go from that sort of non-permanent fixture to the top four.
Yeah, we went from being top four contenders to title contenders. Yeah,
title contenders.
That's exactly what we were for the next sort of, well, until very recently, until Man City and Liverpool have seemed to have run away with it the last sort of 3 years. But, you know, hopefully with this transfer window, which I'm sure we will discuss maybe a little bit later on, Chelsea could be back into it.
But I think that transfer window is definitely up there, because look at, it's not like the players had just an impact for a couple of years. Drogba, Carvalho, Cech, these were all people who stayed at Chelsea for years and years and years till they won the Champions League.
Won everything with Chelsea. Won absolutely everything with Chelsea. And, you know, they really revolutionised Chelsea, you know, as a football club. And they made, you know, all these big signings. They're great for playing football, but also attracting even more great talent. You know, the season after we signed Michael Essien, another Premier League legend. You know, would we have signed Michael Essien had we not had all that star attraction there? I don't know.
And although we're saying like how good a transfer window is, how good of players they were when they came to Chelsea, they weren't legends at the time though.
No.
They weren't like the top players in the world. They were sort of really, really good players who could go on to the next level. They weren't like the best players in the world, recognised Ballon d'Ors, that type of thing. So Mourinho identified which players could go on and become star players, went out and bought them, not for massive fees. They're big fees at the time, no doubt, but they weren't record breaking.
The biggest fee was Didier Drogba for like 24 million.
Not record breaking.
Not record breaking, no, not record breaking. But still a fantastic sign and up there in Chelsea's top 3 players of all time.
Definitely.
Without a doubt. So,
but I think massive transfer window, and who'd they let go that year?
There wasn't no big names that we ever let go. I think the max amount that we sold a player for in that season was about 3 million. There was no big names in that we let go.
But and when you talk about signings there's one other big signing we've talked about, but we didn't consider him as a signing, and we probably should. And that's Jose Mourinho as a coach. They didn't just get the players; they got the best coach in world football at that point, in my opinion. There's not many coaches, if there was any coach who would go into Chelsea, identify players, and win a league in his first season. I don't think any other coach could have done that.
That's why he's one of the best to ever do it, Finch. Why he's one of the best to ever do it. Because he's not just done it in England. He also does it wherever he goes. Spain, Italy.
Wherever.
But I tell a lie, we did let one player go. Only on loan, though. That was Crespo to AC Milan. So, but replaced him with Didier Drogba.
Not bad, is it? Not
Not,
bad.
I think that's one. That's definitely Chelsea's best ever transfer window since like ever, like their best ever transfer window ever. And hopefully this season we can better it.
Right, this season, we're talking about this season. So this season, they signed Werner, 55 mil.
Yep,
CH between about 35 mil, I
about
reckon.
35 million. Yeah,
About 35 mil. Looks like Chilwell between
Havertz.
45 to 50. Havertz probably less progressed as Chilwell, but there's
There's a
talks
lot
there.
more money in there, so
Mm,
you got to include add-ons and
mm,
stuff like that. So
mm,
that's going to be around 80 to 100 million.
mm,
There's talk of a goalkeeper, maybe Nick Pope coming for the region of say 30 to
mm.
35 mil.
Then you need a centre back. So Chelsea, the attack is probably sorted now, but the defence just hasn't been up to standard
No,
since this COVID season began again.
it's been absolutely shocking, Finch, to say the least. The
Mm,
goalkeeper has really let us down, but also the centre backs. Rudiger's not been up to scratch. Even
mm,
Zuma's had bad games. Christensen's been absolutely awful. We're missing a leader. We're missing a big part. That John Terry's gone.
mm,
Lampard's our coach. He's not really playing no more.
mm. Well,
We're
that's
missing that leadership
right.
in the team.
There's a little leader on the free transfer market
Oh, there it
upcoming.
is, Finch.
You see a man called Thiago Silva.
Oh
I
yeah.
heard he's available, so I reckon Chelsea just go in there, give him an offer. I know at the moment no one's talking about it as much as probably should. They're talking about Chelsea being in talks, but because PSG are in the Champions League final,
Hmm.
nothing will happen until after then. So there might be
No.
talks start, but nothing will come out. So I reckon as soon as the Champions League final's over, Thiago Silva is going to be wanted by so many clubs. A free
Oh yeah.
agent, a leader, a captain of a Champions League final team. There's not many people on the market who are as good as him, and there's no one definitely on the market who's a free agent
No,
as good
definitely
as
not.
him.
But with the experience he's got, he's
Mm.
been PSG captain for what, 7 years now, nearly eight
Mm.
years going.
Legend.
He's won nearly everything with PSG, other than the Champions League, which hey, this Sunday, tomorrow night,
Mm.
he could do at the time of recording this. Um, he's exactly what Chelsea need. Even if we get him for just a season,
Mm.
I think he will be able to teach Christensen, Zuma, Tamori so much. He'll just provide something that we haven't had since John Terry left.
Mm. That the transfer winner this year with Chelsea could be one of the best, but we can't put it up there yet just because
Not just yet, but
there's only two real confirmed
it's
transfers.
getting close. It's getting close. It's already one of
Mm.
Chelsea's best
Mm.
since for about 5 years.
Mm. So we're talking about Thiago Silva there. So we've gone through Chelsea, the 04-05 one. What a transfer window. And we said this year Thiago Silva could top it off and could make this year a good transfer window. But for me, we're talking about Thiago Silva. When PSG back in the day, back in 2012-13, the second year they had all that money, all that Qatari money, lovely, lovely money. Everywhere was rolling in money there. They went out and had a bloody good transfer window.
A bloody good
Without,
one.
to be honest, I was flabbergasted is
I
what
couldn't
word.
believe it.
The transfer window they had because at that time they weren't that good a side. They did okay. I think Montpellier won the league before the season before that. Lyon were a big club, but
Hmm.
PSG probably third, fourth in the league. That type of thing. I think they came second to Montpellier that year. But if Montpellier won the league, obviously something's going wrong. The season before you're spending 100 mil.
Well, then again,
Yeah.
Hervé Giroud was incredible that year for Montpellier.
He was. But then PSG, that transfer window, they bought Thiago Silva 37 million. They bought Lucas Moura. And Lucas Moura at the time was a much wanted man.
Yeah, that's Sao Paulo, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sao Paulo, Man United wanted him, a much wanted man. They bought Lavezzi, and they also bought Ibrahimovic. It was Ibra and Thiago Silva which took PSG to that next level, made them title-winning team in that French league. Maybe it's not the most competitive, but it ensured that they won it every year.
Yeah.
Gave them chances in the Champions League. The only main reason in the Champions League final this year is because Thiago Silva was there. He's that rock at the back. Zlatan was one of the best players ever to play for them.
Hmm.
Absolutely unbelievable for them. He scored countless goals.
20 plus goals a season every single year
And
until he left.
and we haven't even talked about one other player they signed that year who's been one of the best, Marco Verratti.
Oh,
What a player! And he was only signed for 10 mil.
fantastic little player.
10 million. So in that year, they spent 135 million. They got Thiago Silva, Lucas Moura, Lavezzi, Ibrahimovic, Verratti, Gregory Van der Reel. And I'm just going to turn this back on. So we've got a live little setup there. And the screen just turned off. But what a transfer window that was. Because that brought PSG to the next level. We talked about when Mourinho came in, the window, he took Chelsea to that next level with the window he had. But that window from PSG took them to the next
Oh,
level.
that was absolutely fantastic.
They went from sort of a top four side to a Champions League worthy side. Maybe they didn't win the Champions League with that side, yet they still have Verratti, they still have Thiago Silva from that window, but it definitely made them a Champions League competing team.
Yeah, I completely agree, Finch. They didn't really do much in the competition before. They haven't, admittedly, they haven't done too much after, but they've still made some semi-finals. They got to further stages than what they had done. That's all thanks to the backing of their rich owners, bringing in these fantastic names, and they made PSG a major team again.
With Thiago Silva and Zlatan, two huge names. That
From
double
AC
transfer,
Milan in one.
AC Milan, 55 mil for them two. What a bargain! Like nowadays, you struggle to get a centre back as good as Thiago Silva, 55 mil. You see John Stones 50 mil, and look at him.
Mangala 40 mil.
Yeah, Mangala 40 mil. So to get those two at 55, it's not only like PSG splashing the cash. Actually, they got good value for money that year.
Yeah.
That is unreal business.
That was absolutely
unreal
fantastic.
Qatari business.
That was absolutely brilliant.
What do we reckon next then? So we've got two big transfer windows there, Chelsea, PSG. Both teams rolling in dollars. We talked both teams quite similar in that the transfer winners took them to the next level. So there's a clear impact.
Should we go to another team? Absolutely rolling in the cash, Finchy, and it's only progressed them further.
Are we talking about Ipswich Town here?
No, not Ipswich Town. I'm talking about Manchester City.
Yeah,
back in 2010. Now, the year before, or a couple of years before that, they got overtaken by some rich Saudi owners. They brought in players like Joe, didn't work out. Robinho, didn't work out. Turned to be a club record, like a Premier League record fee at the time.
Last day transfer window.
Yeah, everyone thought that Robinho was going to be the next big thing for Manchester City. Really progressed them. Didn't work out. 2009, they signed Carlos Tevez, Emmanuel Adebayor. Didn't really work out as well as it should have done, but it was better than 2008. But 2010 is where things really kicked off. Mario Balotelli, Edin Dzeko, Yaya Toure, David Silva, James Milner, Jerome Boateng.
What a transfer window!
What an absolute!
What a chance! And they all become club legends. So many club legends like Yaya Toure, David Silva, absolute club legends. David Silva's getting a statue outside the Etihad. What a club legend! Well deserved. It wasn't 25 mil.
Yeah, 25 mil.
Yeah. For Barcelona.
Yep.
Went to Man City.
Yeah, so worth it though.
Midfielder, one of the best goal scoring midfielders the Premier League has ever seen. Probably only second to Lampard. He scored 20 goals a season in the Premier League one year. What a player he was.
One of the best ever individual seasons from a.
I remember him getting that year, 2010-11. They hadn't won a trophy for God knows how many years. He's the one who scored goals in the semi-final and the final of the FA Cup.
Yep.
I remember him scoring a goal. I think it was against United in the semi-final. And at the final, I can't remember who he scored against, but what a goal it was.
Oh, Finch, they're absolutely fantastic. Also, sorry, to go along with them names, you've got Alexander Kolarov, fantastic attacking fullback.
Legend.
Yeah, he's been absolutely brilliant for Man City, and he's still doing bits now for Roma. As he's quite old now, but he's still doing bits, and I think that is one of the. If you're gonna make a statement, that is the way to do it. Man City definitely made a statement that season.
And one player also was in that window who went on to great things, not Man City. Jerome Boateng.
Yeah.
Jerome Boateng. Well, it's just great things. But we just talked about the legends there from the summer window. In the January window, Dzeko, what an impact he had.
Edin Dzeko, what a goal scoring machine. That guy was made to score goals, I swear.
So underrated.
Yeah. Wherever he goes, he will score you goals.
Wolfsburg goal scoring machine. Won the league with them. Him and the Brazilian legend, Graffiti. What a player. What a beautiful player. Little backheel goals, everything. He had everything. But
fantastic.
Dzeko, Graffiti, what a duo. But Dzeko, he went to City, he got those goals, and obviously everyone knows what happens the next year with Dzeko getting that header in extra time from Aguero. Balotelli being involved with that. And you see the instant impact. Balotelli, Dzeko, they were crucial to City winning.
Their first ever Premier League. Yeah.
Crucial, and they were signed that summer. Just that summer. City signed the right talent at the right time, taking to the next level. And what a window it was. Because there was a few summers after them where they just went with players like Mangala and players like that.
Wilfred Bonny,
Javi Garcia,
Jovetic. Yeah. It's like don't know what happened to their scouting after that, but they've never really had the same
No,
sort of transfer window since. I can only think of one maybe a few years back when they signed De Bruyne and
Sterling.
Sterling in the same transfer
Mm.
window, but I don't.
I don't know what happened. And also then, most recently, when they got Walker,
Oh, they
Mendy,
went absolutely
Feagan,
crazy on
Bernardo
fullbacks and
Silva,
defence
yeah,
and
Laporte in the January that win. That what a winner that was. But in the, like a few years in between that, except from the Sterling and De Bruyne, they went off.
yeah.
It's just weird how suddenly that first one they got it so right with the players they bought. Maybe that
Other
was
than Jerome Boateng, but
yeah.
maybe Boateng just wasn't suited to the Premier League or he wasn't given enough time. But obviously, as you know, he went for to Bayern Munich, sorry, and went on to do bigger and better things.
But overall, because even Milner was so important to City getting that title.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing squad, more of a squad player for them to be honest, but a great player for them
Yeah.
nonetheless.
Yeah, he's got a Premier League medal to show for it. So
Two Premier League medals now.
yeah, 2 Premier League medals now.
Or was it three? Did he win two titles at
He
City?
won it in 2011. Yeah, 2011, 12, 13, 14, and
Pellegrini, yeah.
so 3 Premier League medals as well.
And he's probably actually played the most for Liverpool, you know.
He's been a fantastic player.
So I think Man City, we talked about that first transfer window, touched on the transfer window, was it 17, 18?
Yeah, 17, 18.
17, 18 where they got Mendy. To be honest, that didn't really work out. I still don't really rate him. I think bit of a hype merchant. I think he's a good player, just gets injured a lot and
Yeah, very injury
yeah.
prone. To be fair to him, on his day, he's like great at attacking. You know, he whips in a lot of great crosses. I think in his first season, he chalked up like 6 assists in his first sort of 5 games or something like that, which is incredible. Obviously, he got that horrific knee injury, and he hasn't been the same since.
I don't really. I think he's a good cross of the ball at first year.
Yeah,
but I just don't think he's come back.
no, he won't be the same, and
City need another left back.
that's why City are in the market for a new left back now, even after
Walker,
paying 50 million for him.
Walker, unbelievable.
Yeah,
but he's been pretty much legend at City. What he's done there, because in the right backs before him, Zabaleta was good, but I think he's taken it to the next level. Maybe not legend, but a very good player. Probably a big statement actually.
the legend's quite a big statement, Finch, yeah, and maybe just after like icon sort of stage, maybe, but
like very good, well remembered player.
Yeah, but if you're going to put him in like the best ever Man City 11, like you're probably going to put Walker at right back rather than Zabaleta. Maybe Zabaleta for sentimental value, but to me, I think Kyle Walker was definitely better than
Zabaleta couldn't play
Pablo Zabaleta. No.
Laporte that year as well. Bernardo Silva, 45 mil. What a bargain.
That is fantastic. I always, like I said to you before, I've said it probably a few times in the podcast before, Finch, but I always wanted Bernardo Silva at Chelsea.
So when Monaco had that, was it Monaco v Chelsea?
No, it was Monaco v Man City.
Monaco v Man City.
And I was watching the game, and the ball just stuck to Bernardo Silva's foot, and I hadn't seen that since, watching Lionel Messi. It was the closest thing I've seen to watching Messi dribble. I really, really wanted him to go to Chelsea, but
to be honest, I think he's an absolutely unbelievable player.
Yeah. Oh, very underrated.
I just think City just haven't played him as much in his preferred position. Like when at Monaco, in that cam, in that Messi position, he was absolutely unreal. It's been unreal for Man City, cutting in on the left, a bit more cutting on the right. He cuts in a lot when he's on the wings, doesn't he? But in terms of when he's on the cam position, I think that's his best position. Maybe with Silva leaving, him and Foden will rotate that position a bit.
Hopefully, I really want to see more of him, even if he's not playing with Chelsea. I just want to see him. I just want to see him play. I love seeing these world class players play.
Yeah, it's not like he has been bad at Man City. He has been actually unreal.
Yeah.
I think he got Premier League Team of the Year 1 year, didn't he?
I think.
Did he?
18, 19 maybe.
But it's just that in that cam position, you feel like he'd be one of the best, if not the best Premier League player.
Yeah.
He
has the potential, but he's still only 26 years old. He's still got a good amount of time to really progress and step up to that next level where Hazard, De Bruyne, they really set the standard.
Definitely. But yeah, that summer, absolutely unreal. We didn't even talk about Ederson. They got Ederson that summer as well. What a goalkeeper he was.
Well,
36 million for him. When you look at Chelsea signing Kepa, 72, Liverpool, Alisson has done well at Liverpool, but him and Ederson are probably quite similar levels. And when you look at the difference in transfer price, 60 million, 65 million to 36 million, that's almost 30 million difference.
And they needed that class keeper. I mean, Joe Hart was exceptional, but he then declined. Then they brought in Claudio Bravo from Barcelona.
Looked all set with that as well.
And oh man, one of the worst Premier League keepers in my opinion.
What
and
has he done? What happened to him? He was just awful.
He went. I don't know. I think confidence is definitely a big thing with goalies, and as soon as you let in that first goal, and then all the fans get on your back, and you get all this slack on social media, you get all the pundits talking about you, it can affect you mentally, and that's sort of what's happened with Kepa at the minute. Because Kepa, he is a good keeper. There's a reason why he costs 70 odd million, because he is a good keeper. World class, I'd probably say not, but the Chelsea Europa League campaign, he was absolutely quality. But with Claudio Bravo, good keeper for Barcelona, but I think he was on the wrong side of 30 when signing for Man City. His reactions were very slow, and his judgment of the ball was awful. And
Well, it just shows that Barcelona, you actually have to be a great goalkeeper to do well there. Like Valdez, everyone thought he had a really good goalie for years and years, but then he went to United, did nothing. He was
no,
awful there. Same kind of thing. Just shows to be a goalkeeper at Barcelona, you don't have that many shots to deal with, really.
no,
You have to be good, all right with the ball on your feet, but that's about it. Bravo was found out when he came to the league. So was Valdez.
yeah, Victor Valdez definitely.
But yeah, so that window, unreal for Man City. Edison took them to another level. We're talking about Edison actually, but he was awful the other night. So
Yeah, against Leon,
overall,
he made a bit of a clanger.
Overall, been absolutely amazing. That's probably the one time I've seen him make a mistake which has been that important. I know he's made a few mistakes, probably a bit less so maybe when he's clearing the ball and stuff like that, which are going to happen if you play that way. But I've never seen him make a mistake by spilling the ball so badly, like basic mistakes like that.
No.
He's obviously made mistakes where, I remember playing it along the floor and Salah chipped him, and I think
that was it. Yeah,
someone else has chipped him before.
He's a Russian keeper, isn't he? He's a bit of a sweeper keeper. They call
but that
it.
happens with that, like Neuer's. It happens to Neuer.
Yeah, happens to Neuer.
It just happens when you're a sweeper keeper like that. You understand that kind of thing. It's going to happen every now and again. You take the risk on that. You'll save more goals by being a sweeper.
Yeah, when it comes off, you look absolutely perfect. But when it doesn't, you look an absolute idiot.
So what happened the other day? That was just basic keeping. You don't expect them to ever do that.
No.
Just spill a ball like that, basic. But yeah, Man City, some great transfer windows.
Yeah, 2010, 2017, 18, they're absolutely fantastic transfer windows and really set the standard. What they needed, that's exactly what they needed. They needed that backing from the owners, and that's exactly what they got.
So we talked about Chelsea, we've talked about Man City, we've talked about PSG. Three clubs all had money at those points to invest in transfers. But I think it's worth talking about clubs which maybe didn't have, as were big clubs already, didn't have as much money maybe to invest as these other clubs did at that point.
Yep.
But then used it wisely and did something after. And the first one I think it's worth talking about is Inter Milan. What a window they had in 9-10. We're bringing back Mourinho again. He did it at Chelsea 4-5, went to Inter Milan and probably topped what he did at Chelsea. That is transfer window at Inter Milan.
Won the treble.
Got Militao for 25 mil. What an unbelievable player he was.
Fantastic goal scorer.
Eto. What?
Best African player of all time,
Best African player of all. How the hell did that's the only player probably top Drogba in terms of the African rankings.
Yeah.
What a player he was, and to get the deal they got as well. They got Eto and money for Ibra, and Eto obviously did better at Inter than Ibra did at Barcelona.
Oh, Ibrahimovic, what he scored, I think he didn't get 10 goals at Barcelona, I don't believe.
They got 60 odd million for
Ibra was definitely the most wanted man, but it was a bit of a kick in the teeth for Samuel Eto'o to the way he left Barcelona. After all he'd done for him, scoring goals in Champions League finals and etc. And then he was just, shifted off so to make way for the man in,
he won the Champions League final
in form.
didn't he?
That's what I mean. He scored against Man United, and he also scored a few years previous against
Arsenal.
Yeah.
He was so underappreciated
At Barcelona, without a doubt.
I'm glad he probably did get the appreciation a bit more at Inter. And also, he played the left wing at Inter. Played a bit out of position, yet still scored like 20 odd goals that year in the league. He was unbelievable as a striker. One of the best strikers we've seen since the 2000s. To get that deal from where you actually get money and you're letting Ibra go, but you're getting like 40 mil and Eto. What a deal that was.
Yeah.
And also, to top it off, probably one of the biggest bargains there's ever been. Schneider for 13 million. Schneider that season was potentially the best player in the world. We discussed before, people should have won the Ballon d'Or. We said Schneider.
Wesley Sneijder, 2010.
9-10.
World Cup finalist, Champions League winner, Serie A winner, countless goals, countless assists. But when you're up against Lionel Messi, he's tough to beat.
Yeah, but 13 million, that's a ridiculous price. One of the best centre mids in the world. Like, I know we'll go on to talk about what Real Madrid did that window. in terms of buying players, but in terms of selling players, they let some players go on the cheap. They let Schneider go 13 million. They let Robin go for like 13, 15 million.
24 million it was.
Or 24
It was 24 million, which in them days was still was for like the standard sort of price, wasn't it? You only really got like the 50 to up to like really world class talent. But even though when you think back to it now, you think that's pretty cheap for Iron Robin, a world class winger like that.
And look what he did after.
Well, yeah,
Unbelievable standards he set at Bayern. Like people saying Asane and Gnabry could reach standards of Ribery and Robin, but Ribery and Robin got Bayern to the Champions League final. They won the Champions League. They were there for like 10 years. Every time you played Bayern, you knew you were in it for a hard game from the Champions League with Ribery and Robin. They set a style of play for Bayern.
Ribery, Robin, and Ivica Olic.
Yeah. What a team they had at that point. But yeah, going back to Inter, so they signed Militao 25 million. Samuel Eto'o ended up being the equivalent of 18 million because of the swap deal. Schneider 13 million. They got the experience as well. Mourinho knows to win something. To win not something, win a treble, you need experience. I think they were the first Italian team in years to win a treble. Winning the Champions League, Serie A, and obviously the Italian Cup. So he got in Thiago Motta for that experience. And most importantly, you need a killer centre back. And at that time, there were some good centre backs around for a lot of money. But he went to Bayern Munich, got Lucio, probably about 32 years old at the time. But so experienced. What a centre back he was.
Partnered him up with Walter Samuel, wasn't he?
Walter Samuel.
Yeah, fantastic pairing.
6 million they signed Lucio for. So that winner didn't spend mega money. 6 million on Lucio, 18 million on Eto'o, like part of the swap deal. That's how they couldn't figure it worked out. 13 million on Schneider. The biggest fee was on Militao, but 25 million, which isn't bad.
So altogether, that's what, like 45, 50 mil?
Yeah, but 60 mil. Well, 70, 80 mil. Yeah.
Okay, maybe a bit more than we first thought, but for the cost of a treble, I mean that's pretty priceless.
Well, they got a few they got even players like Goran Panda. They got a free transfer year, and he was crucial to that. I remember him coming on as a squad player in that year quite a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think he's done much since, but for a couple of years into what a player he was. And that year and the next year, Inter Milan were an incredible team. Deserved to win Serie A, deserved to win the Champions League, and you can see the impact those players had and see how good they were by what Inter have done since when those players have left. Since those players have left, Inter have just crashed the ground. And you know at the moment there's a bit of a revival, then finishing second, and getting to the Europa League final. But the difference of that, let's say people saying now what an achievement Inter coming back, getting to the Europa League final, finishing second. That shows a difference, and that's now an achievement. Whereas before, when Mourinho was there with this transfer window, they won the treble.
Yeah.
Winning the treble, that's an achievement, and the gap now, thinking the Europa League final is an achievement, it's unbelievable. It's just quite sad to see the fall from grace. But that transfer window,
that was unbelievable.
That was the best in terms of value for money. And what they did. What they did the year after.
Unbelievable, Finch. Unbelievable. Well, if you don't mind, I'd also like to stay in 2009 and
go for it.
You know, go across the pond to Spain, where the club does have a lot of money, and they sure showed that they did in this transfer window. They made a lot of signings worth a lot of money. I'm talking about Real Madrid. Wow, they really set the standard for huge transfers. The biggest, the biggest ever. For how long was it until the record was broken of Gareth Bale in 2013?
2013, yeah.
Unbelievable. Cristiano Ronaldo from Manchester United for £80 million.
It's at that time as well. You were like 80 million. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What?
Not like these days where 80 million gets you Harry Maguire.
80 million gets you Lucas Hernandez, Harry Maguire.
Yeah.
Like that. But in those days, 80 million, you were like, bloody, that is a lot. That's like wow. Like nothing was anywhere near close to that before. No. That's the difference. Like now, you get like transfer fees close to one another, 80, 90, 100
I think the other record was what, Feagan or Zidane for like 60 mil?
Yeah.
But
nothing was close. Everyone thought that was years and years before. There wasn't a fee like that for years. And everyone thought 80 mil. That is huge. Like when will that ever be broken? I was thinking, I don't know anyone who'd break that.
No, never. But until Real Madrid broke it themselves again. So
even then, it was like seemed absolutely massive bail. Like bloody hell, 85 mil.
That's never gonna be broken. And then United buy Pogba for 89 million. It's like, whoa, that's never gonna be broken. And then Neymar goes for 200 million. You're like, okay, that's never gonna be broken. But this transfer window was unbelievable. You had Cristiano Ronaldo one of the best players in the world, just won the Ballon d'Or.
Mm.
You had Kaká, one of the best players in the world, won the Ballon d'Or previously.
And also, when they signed him, that broke the world transfer record.
Yeah, exactly. 56 million.
Yeah.
And then they broke it themselves again.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. They signed Xabi Alonso, 30 million from Liverpool. Fantastic sign. Very underrated, I believe, in his time at Liverpool, Real Madrid, and also Bayern Munich. They signed Arbeloa. Bit of a mess signing. Squad player, yeah, good squad player. Bit of a mess signing compared to the names that we have. And we also got Karim Benzema, which I think is a very underrated player at Madrid. He set a lot of standards at Madrid. You know, he's up there in a lot of goal scoring rankings. He's second most assists in Madrid history, in Champions League history. He's close to breaking that record.
He's been there consistently since 9-10.
Yeah.
So 11 years he's been there. He's won everything for the club. Won 4 Champions Leagues.
4 Champions Leagues, yeah.
Been
La
absolutely
Ligas,
unreal.
Club World Cups, Copa del Rey. He's done it all.
And every manager he's played has been the starting striker. There's been so many managers there. He's been the starting striker.
They've never really even tried to sign a striker in a window. The last I can think of is obviously Jovic, but I mean Benzema's definitely outlived Jovic.
And to be for 11 years to be the starting striker for arguably a lot of people would agree with this the biggest club in the world.
Yeah, I'd agree.
You've got to do something right because mostly what happens at the bigger clubs, you'll be lucky to get 2-3 years as the starting striker at least the biggest clubs in the world. If you look at like United, Van Persie for a few years. It takes a very special player to be 11 years. Like even Suarez has been there 5-6 years.
Yeah.
People now saying is leaving.
Well, like you were saying before about Samuel Eto'o, Inter Milan, a huge club, but he only spent a few seasons there. He didn't spend long there.
And Barcelona, he spent how many years there? 5 years?
Yeah.
And then Benzema spending 11 years. And he didn't cost that much. He cost 30 mil?
Yeah.
31 mil?
Yeah, I think it was something like that, yeah.
What a signing he was.
Absolutely fantastic. And he was such a young age as well that he come into that Madrid team and really just took that striker spot for himself. He's absolutely fantastic. I personally believe that Madrid transfer window could potentially be the best.
Like 100%. If you look at what Ronaldo did, he not only set records for the club in terms of goal scoring and trophies and what he did brought them to the next level. Because before that, remember, Madrid went through a period of being quite poor. They were being beaten by Liverpool 4-0 in the Champions League, I think, the year before that.
Yeah.
And they went through a really dry spell where they hadn't won the Liga. I don't think they won a Liga since Capello.
That was with Van Nistelrooy, won it. Ruud Van Nistelrooy won it in 2007, I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that Capello? The year Beckham left?
I think so. I think it was, yeah. Went to LA Galaxy.
So they ain't won anything for a while. They definitely hadn't competed in the Champions League for a long time, since 2001 where they won it. Was it 2003 where they won it? They definitely won it in 2001, but they were trying to get that. They wanted to get a couple more
Champions League. 2003 because Ronaldo's never won Champions League.
100%. So it was 2001 with Galacticos, with Zidane scoring that beautiful volley.
One of the best ever goals in football history.
The best, yeah.
Well, you can always argue that Gareth Bale, but Real Madrid will hold the best ever Champions League goal.
Say about Ronaldo there for 80 million. He not only did what he did at Real Madrid, took them to, after a dry spell, took them to another level. Again, we're back to that level they should be at. So I'm not saying another level, back to the level.
Yeah.
With Chelsea, PSG, Man City, we're saying to another level, but with Real Madrid, we're saying back to the level they were at. He recouped that money. They sold him for more money. They sold him for 105 million.
Yeah.
Well, so he did all what he did at.
Did all of that, broke all their records, literally every single record they had. He smashed it. Yeah. Won them 4 Champions Leagues, smashed the Champions League records. You know, he's got 100 and something goals in Champions League.
Yeah.
That's absolutely mental. What he done, and then
30, 40, 50 goals a season.
Yeah.
60 goals
consistently, Ballon d'Ors all over the show, individual records, and to be able to, you know, go for profit at the age he was. He spent 9 years there.
That shows how good a player he was. What other player could go for 105, 110 million at the age of 33?
You can only think of Lionel Messi, and even then, it's like, would he?
So that transfer window is absolutely unreal for that. The only thing going against Madrid in that transfer window, I know how they did in that transfer window, it brought them back to the levels. It did take them a few years for those players to gel. I know they won the league and Mourinho. Was it a year later?
It was 2010-11, yeah.
A year later. But they didn't compete to the Champions League until Ancelotti a few years after when they had Bale. So it did take them a few years to gel together and make that significant impact. But the thing against them that year, in my opinion, is the players they sold. Because they did go for a dry spell. Some of the players didn't work out there, but still, when you look at some of the players they sold and what they did after, in Schneider for 13 million, what a player he was after
Absolute
that injury.
bargain. Absolute bargain. They easily could have kept him to play with Kaka, and they probably would have done even better in Champions League than what they did.
And Ian Robin, 22 million.
Fantastic
Yeah.
ringer.
And I guess when we talk about that window as well, we were spoken about how well these players had done, but it's worth pointing out Kaka. It just didn't work out.
It did not work out. No.
So him, Ronaldo, it was really there was a top three at that point. Really, there was
Ronaldo. Go on.
Ronaldo, Messi and Ronaldo were very early on in their sort of dominance, and that's when they their dominance was beginning in world football. And I think Messi and Ronaldo only won the Ballon d'Or once each at that point. I think Messi won it 2009, Ronaldo 2008, Kaká 2007. So Kaká was still considered, if not close, probably in that bracket with Messi and Ronaldo, because that was before their dominance properly crept in. They're very early on. So Kaká was expected to do amazing things at Madrid as well, but it just didn't work out.
It did not work out. We included that last time on our podcast in the biggest transfer flops, and he was considered one of the biggest ever due to the fact of his legacy that he left before, and also his astronomical transfer fee, which was a world record at the time. So, in a way, it is probably one of the best ever, if not the best ever transfer windows, but only if you look at it from that time period, as in 2009, rather than looking back at it in 2020. But
and it shows how much of a flop he was, because we looked at Ronaldo at 33 years old, they managed to make a profit on him.
Yeah.
Kaká, they didn't make any profit. They didn't go for free back to Milan, didn't they? They went to Orlando after that.
Yeah. He didn't do anything for him.
But that was going to be hard to beat.
It's going to be a tough one to top, especially because you have, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kaká, Xabi Alonso, Karim Benzema, even Arbeloa.
It's extremely tough. But there's a couple more transfer windows I think we need to talk about. One definitely being Atletico Madrid. So Atletico Madrid, I think it was in 14-15, they had quite a big task because they just won the league. 13-14 won the league, but then they had to let Courtois go back to Chelsea.
Yep.
They let Costa, but they sold him to Chelsea. What a window that was for Chelsea, by the way.
Yeah, we'll talk about that soon.
What a window. And then they also let Felipe Luis go.
To Chelsea?
Yeah, to Chelsea. And you're thinking, okay, so their team's been broken apart now. They're not going to compete with anything again, really, because their team's been broken apart. They lost one of the best goalkeepers in the world, one of the best strikers in the world, one of the best left-backs in the world. But no, they went ahead and signed Griezmann for 40-odd million from Real Sociedad, and what a player he was. Absolute legend there until what he did, obviously, to leave, and probably caused a bit of a ruffle.
Bit of a sour taste in Atletico Madrid fans' mouths, I believe.
Mandzukic has always performed. He's like Dzeko. He's always performed at wherever the club has been. Very solid player. And not only did they let Courtois go, everyone thought, okay, who are they going to get in? They replaced him with an even better goalkeeper, potentially probably the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. I believe best keeper in the world right now.
Jan Oblak. What a player he was. What an absolute legend.
That was a fantastic transfer window.
And those are the three standout players. They did sign, surprisingly, Raul Jimenez that summer as well.
Yeah.
Raul Jimenez was at Atletico, believe it or not. Not many people know this. And then they sold him to Benfica, I want to say. And then he went to Wolves.
Yeah, he went to Wolves after that. Absolutely fantastic transfer window. It took a little while for them to all gel together, but then they got to the
Champions League final.
They got the Champions League final in 2013.
14-15.
Was it no?
That's when Madrid won it, didn't they? 2014-15.
2013-14 they won it.
They not win it the next year as well. Who won it 2015?
2015 was Barcelona. Beat Juventus.
Of course. So 2015-16.
2015-16 Real Madrid beat Atletico Madrid
in the final.
Where
Madrid, Atletico seemed to be theirs until the last minute, where Sergio Ramos.
That was in 2013-14.
2013-14. What am I talking about? that one though, where Sergio Ramos pops up in the last minute.
Yeah, Sergio Ramos scored again though in the 2015-16 final. And then Carrasco equalised, and then I believe it went to penalties. Don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure it finished 1-1. I'm pretty sure it finished 1-1. Seems to ring a bell.
But yeah, to get back to that level though, being in the Champions League final with those signings,
that
shows the level of those signings. They were key. Griezmann was key. Oblak was key.
Well,
Zinchenko was key.
to replace the players who were there, Finch, who were world
Mm.
class, because you got to remember in that 13-14 season, not only did they reach Champions League final, they also won the league.
And Villa went as well. You said Villa was so important.
Yeah.
Villa, Costa, Courtois, Felipe
Luis,
Luis.
fantastic
So
setup, absolutely fantastic setup.
I think they've got to be mentioned. I don't think they'll be the best. That'll be the best transfer window, but I think it's got to be mentioned. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, with that Atletico Madrid transfer window, you say about Felipe Luis going to Chelsea, Diego Costa going to Chelsea, Courtois going back to Chelsea. It'd be rude of me not to mention Chelsea in this 2014-15 transfer window for all that they've done, with the players that they bought and also sold. Mourinho come back in 2013-14 season. We made some good signs. We signed Willian that year. His time at Chelsea is can be questionable. He scored some important goals for us. But we didn't really have the best transfer window that season in Mourinho's first season back. We had it in his second season. Wow, what a phenomenal signings that we made. We signed Diego Costa, 32 million. Cesc Fabregas, one of my all-time favorite Chelsea players. He cost about 30 million from Barcelona.
32 million.
Yeah, from Barcelona. We signed Didier Drogba, come back on a free transfer. Loic Remy from QPR. We signed Felipe Luis, obviously from Atletico Madrid, for about 17 million, I believe. One player who we did sign in the January transfer window was Juan Cuadrado, and he was destined to do pretty big things at Chelsea, but that just never worked out. He was not strong enough for the Premier League. Had the speed, had the dribbling.
Speed was unreal.
Speed, he was one of the quickest players I've ever seen, but he had no strength about him whatsoever. He's like Adama Traore if Adama Traore was built like us. This didn't work out. It did not work out for him whatsoever, but also that summer where we signed Costa, we sold a striker in Romelu Lukaku, 30 million to Everton, so Costa didn't cost too much. But the big one, which surprised a lot of people, that was the money that we got for this defender, that PSG paid for David Luiz. 50 million. 50 million, the highest, that was at the point, the highest ever price for a defender.
Yeah.
50 million pounds for David Luiz.
And it wasn't like David Luiz made a huge impact at Chelsea at that point. He wasn't amazing at Chelsea. He didn't win the league in his first spell there.
No. Didn't win the Champions League.
He won the Champions League.
Oh, he won the Champions League. He won everything but the Premier League. In his first spell.
But he's never a 50 million player though.
Oh, no.
Never a 50 million player. Thiago Silva, we talk about Thiago Silva, he made Luiz look good at PSG for years. But yeah, that window, unbelievable. And you also talked about players leaving. So when we're talking about best transfer winners, we're not only talking about the players coming in for clubs, we're talking about the players leaving. So them making some dollar. And Chelsea made dollar that year. Schürrle, in the January transfer window, Andre Schürrle was sold for 28 million. And Mourinho knew, and Chelsea knew.
We just didn't need him. I really liked Schürrle as a player, but he just wasn't needed. He was surplus requirements. We had Oscar, had Hazard, Willian, brought in Cuadrado, and we didn't need Schürrle. He was just a player who needed to be a starter for other teams. I feel like Chelsea, as a football club, and Mourinho knew that Schürrle wasn't, he didn't deserve to be a squad player. He needed to be starting. It's such a shame how his career has panned out. I believe he's retired now. I believe he's actually retired.
I know, but he's meant to be in his peak. Like the last 3 years were meant to be his peak years, and Chelsea and Mourinho knew that he maybe wasn't the player people thought he was. If they give him 28 million, he was definitely not worth 28 million after.
No.
He obviously did okay at Wolfsburg, got that move to Dortmund. Just did nothing after then though. Ever since he moved to Dortmund. Fulham did okay. He got a couple of goals, didn't really stand out though.
Nope.
And it's been downhill ever since. But that's why I'm talking about Chelsea. That summer, even Lukaku, Lukaku's done great since. But at that time,
30 million for Lukaku was absolutely incredible. Obviously a proven Premier League goal scorer, but we signed, a better striker than him for just a little bit extra.
Same price.
And that was a striker that we needed. This is what everyone was saying about Chelsea at the time. Mourinho was so masterful in his tactics with the signings that he made, because they improved the squad straight away. He turned us into this title winning side once more. We hadn't won the league since 2009, 2010 under Ancelotti. We was desperate for a striker to replace Didier Drogba.
Didn't have a striker in years.
No.
Really. It was.
We signed Fernando Torres, who we thought would be
It was since
someone to
Drogba.
replace. Yeah,
It was since,
we hadn't had that striker since Drogba, and Costa came in straight away and scored 6 in his first 6 games, and it was absolutely fantastic. Cesc Fabregas, like I said before, one of my all-time favorite Chelsea players. He was that the goal scorer, like the goal making midfielder that we needed. The assist in his debut against Burnley, the best ever assist, I believe, in the Premier League ever.
Definitely top 3. You can't argue with top 3. It's arguable best. A lot of people do think best, but definitely top 3. Considering that was his first game back in the Premier League, I want to say.
Yeah.
That was the first.
That was the first game back in the Premier League, and he was doing crazy stuff like that. And a lot of people said at the end of the season that Fabregas was the sign of the season. He got 22 assists in all competitions, scored some vital goals. He scored. This is actually a few days before my birthday, actually, that he scored a goal in the 93rd minute against QPR, which put us like 7 points clear of Man City and Arsenal, who were sitting in 2nd and 3rd place. So just a couple more wins after that game, and we was golden for the title. I believe we had Leicester and Crystal Palace to play in them 2 games where we needed to win a title, and we won both. And Fabregas played a vital part in both of them games.
Fabregas, what a servant he was to the Chelseans. What a signing he was at 30. He didn't even do bad at Barcelona. He did quite well. He never won the Champions League for them, I know, but he won the league for them. Got a fair amount of goals. It was very odd that Barcelona were letting him go for that price that summer.
Yeah, but when you consider the the talent that Fabregas had to compete with to get a spot, he had to compete with Xavi and Iniesta, the best 2 Spanish players best 2 Spanish midfielders to ever grace the game.
Fabregas is up there, though.
Fabregas definitely up there.
100 times for Spain in their best era of all time. Started in World Cup finals.
Yeah, World Cup finals, finalist, won it. Won the.
I'm pretty sure he started, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Europa League. He did win the Europa League. European champion. I'm sorry, I meant to say.
Overall,
Cesc Fabregas has won everything there is to win.
29 million, absolute snip for a player of his class, and how he transferred. Almost 2 signings there, Costa and Fabregas, completely transformed Chelsea in the side, and they worked 60 million between them. That is absolutely unbelievable business.
Great bit of business, because then we sold David Luiz for 50 million.
The 2 best players in the world in their positions at that point, and Costa absolutely grabbed the league. And we talked about those 2, how important those 2 were together. You also got to consider their relationship. Like, I remember Fabregas was always pinging balls to Costa. He knew where Costa would be.
All the time, he knew exactly where he was.
Costa knew where Fabregas was passing to. There were some great long balls. I remember that scene. I think it was against Arsenal.
Yeah,
there was a great long
pass
ball.
It over the top and Costa around to it and just chipped. I think it was Chesney in there.
Yeah, it was a beautiful chip.
Absolutely fantastic.
One of the best goals of the season, that was.
Oh yeah.
Just for the ball and the finish, and that summed up their relationship. That ball and that goal.
That's Costa and Fabregas' the Spanish connection.
And that's again what we talked before about, like the first 3 clubs we talked about with Chelsea, Man City, PSG, taking them to the next level. Then we started talking about when Madrid, Inter, then bring themselves back, signing certain players and having transfers to bring themselves back to the level they were previously at. And that was the same thing with this Chelsea, bringing Chelsea back to the level they should be at. These signings brought them back to the top when people didn't expect them to be back at the top that year. No. People thought City, United, even Liverpool. Liverpool got close to the year before. They thought Liverpool had more chance than Chelsea. But then Chelsea went ahead and signed these 2 players. And again, Mourinho, big sign the year before, coming in.
Yeah, and they brought back Thibaut Courtois. Czech was getting on in age. We needed this star keeper. Brought in Loic Remy as a fantastic backup striker. And Loic Remy proved to be worth his value just because, Diego Costa had, even though he was amazing, he had a bit of an injury hit record in his first spell at Chelsea. He had a bit of a dodgy hamstring. That tweaked at least, I think it was 3 times in his first season, which is just unlucky. But in the games when Loic Remy replaced him, I remember his goal against Stoke, against Hull. He scored vital goals that helped us, win the title. So that definitely deserved his recognition as a Chelsea player, without a doubt.
Definitely. And 100% agree. And what a transfer. I think there's only one other club I'd mention at the moment. For my last pick, I'd say for Liverpool. And this isn't in 2017-18. Obviously, we talked about from the start, we're including both summer and January transfer windows.
Yeah.
And this summer really. When I'm talking about this transfer window, these transfer windows, the summer and January one, is mainly about January. Without January for Liverpool this year, I wouldn't have included it. And I would say if we were just doing a January transfer window, I probably would have put Liverpool and this transfer window is the best transfer window ever for a club just because of the amount of money they got for a specific player. So it was 2017-2018. The year before, Liverpool were building a nice team on the clock, but still quite a bit off the pace in terms of Man City being anywhere near the Champions League, really.
Yeah.
They, in my opinion, quite a bit off the pace. But Klopp was doing well. You can see his vision. But that year, they made signings to take them to the next level. And in the summer, the signings didn't seem like the players who would take them to the next level. It didn't seem like players who were going to break records. But Mohamed Salah did that. 37 million he cost from Rome. Everyone thought, okay, good player, good signing. So
Yeah.
good stand. I thought, okay, good signing. He'll make a good impact. Maybe get you 10 goals to 15 goals.
Yeah,
a
it
year.
won't make that sort of impact. I bet
broke-
his odds to be
yeah.
Premier League top goal scorer were like 200 to 1. That's how much people thought of him when Liverpool signed him.
Yeah, and he broke a record set by Ronaldo and Henry. Two players, 31 goals. They set a record out in the Premier League for the most goals in a single season. And
Mohamed
Salah, a player who went to Chelsea, didn't get maybe enough appearances as he would have liked, was sold and actually went on loan first to Fiorentina, had a good loan spell there, but then was sold to Roma, did okay, they got 15 goals there his second season, and then went to Liverpool. And then you're thinking, okay, he's a solid winger, but he's never going to be one of the best players in the league, and definitely not breaking that Ronaldo record. But yeah, he went ahead and broke that record. The 37 million, that was absolutely incredible by him, considering what he's done since. He's won the Champions League for Liverpool, scored in the Champions League final, been important to them winning the Premier League ever since. And everyone thought, okay, that season was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, one season wonder.
But then in the next year, although maybe not as many goals, he was the joint top goal scorer, 22 goals the next season. So he got 32 goals, then 22 goals. I think he got around 20 goals this season.
Yeah, he's always been up there. Always been up there.
So he's stayed that level. It's been very consistent. Secondly, another bargain buy, Andrew Robertson for 8 million.
Oh yeah.
At the time, again, I thought good buy. But then I thought the first few months he didn't play. He didn't play for about 3 months. Moreno was still playing. Milner was playing left back. And then suddenly he came in the team it must have been like November, December. Then mainly the turn of the year, January, and he started playing nearly every game. Absolutely unreal. Klopp obviously knew when to play, and maybe behind the scenes they were doing separate training or something. So he wasn't injured. And then suddenly he's become arguably, definitely top 3 left backs in the league, but arguably the best left back in the Premier League.
Yeah.
In his time at Liverpool, he's absolutely unreal, and the amount of assists he gets is unheard of for a left
Over
back.
10. Over 10 a season.
Over 10 a season. I think he got 11 this year. Only De Bruyne and Trent got more than him, I believe.
Yeah, Trent had one wrong. Their other fullback.
So then we're talking about the other player they signed in that summer. We're only talking about someone there at the moment. So we've got a player, Salah, who broke all records in the Premier League. Been absolutely unreal for Liverpool. We've got Robertson, who's been potentially Liverpool's best left back in their history. Then we've got Oxlade-Chamberlain. He made a good immediate impact that year. He scored goals against City in the Champions League and the league. And I mean, he was very, very good in the big games that season. Then got that horrific injury.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrific. Ruled him out for the Champions League final in his first season there. Ruled him out for much of the second season when they won the Champions League. But he's come back most recently in this third season and he's played to a good standard. And I think maybe it's hard to judge him at the moment, so I wouldn't really judge him too much as a player because he's played a limited amount of times, but where he has played, he's been a very good standard. He's not set the world alight like Robinson or Salah, but he's been very decent.
Yeah, I actually saying that, it's a bit worried that you say about his injury because just recently he injured his hamstring in training.
Really?
Yesterday. Yeah, he's out for two months.
So yeah, it sums up. He's been very unlucky with injuries.
Really unlucky.
But then I probably wouldn't. They've done absolutely outstanding, these players. Well, I just talked about in the summer transfer window, but I talked before that I probably wouldn't have included Liverpool if we weren't including winter transfer windows, because I think what made this year in terms of transfers for Liverpool so great was what happened in that winter transfer window, because that brought them to the next level. Firstly, then finally getting Van Dijk. They spent the whole summer trying to get him.
Yep.
I thought a good player, but
that's
is he as good as 75 million? Will he take him to the next level? But bloody hell,
yeah, bloody hell indeed.
He's been the best defender in the world.
I
don't know what happened to him. He was good at Southampton, but he's gone on to be an absolute beast.
Absolute rock at the back. There's just getting past him.
No
getting past him. If you do, everyone rants and raves about it. That's how much it doesn't happen.
Yeah. I remember the first player to dribble past him. Everyone was like, bloody hell, he's dribbled past him. can't remember who it was, but it was all
Was it-
over Twitter.
Was it the Salzburg player, wasn't it?
Maybe,
Austrian
yeah.
Salzburg team.
They dribbled past it. It was like, what the hell's happening? And that shows how good a player he is. People were like going mad.
Because he hadn't been drilled past
Yeah.
the whole season, had
No,
he?
it was absolutely ridiculous. And considering what he's done at Liverpool, he's got them to the Champions League final in the first year there. A lot of that was down to his defending because
Yeah.
you've got to be. Liverpool always lacked. I think for most of my lifetime, pretty much my whole lifetime, a real solid centre back to get them to the next level to win a league. The reason they didn't win a league in 13-14 is because they didn't never had that lead at the back.
They had that leaky defence.
They had
Sacco,
leaky-
Skirtle.
Yeah. Even the years before, when like under Benitez, I know they won the Champions League. Carragher, absolutely amazing defender, but Carragher was never the level of.
He was never really partnered with
No.
anyone.
And also, Carragher was more of a partner. Carragher, like next to Van Dijk, would have been perfect. But
Yeah.
he's not the leader, Van Dijk. You needed someone like Van Dijk, a Terry, Company, a Vidic to win the league. And Liverpool hadn't had that in a whole lifetime, I don't think. And that's the first time since they signed Van Dijk. And that was the impact he had to come in there and be transform their defence. Like before then, Liverpool were known as a leaky defence.
Yeah.
To get to the Champions League final, the way he inspired them to do that, and also what they've done since in the Premier League, conceded hardly any goals over the last 2 years. I don't think they haven't lost. They didn't lose a home game.
They haven't lost the home game, no, not for a couple, for nearly 2 seasons now.
And that a lot of it is down to Van Dijk. It's over 75 mil. Looking back, it's crazy these transfers. You think at the time 75 mil, that's ridiculous. Looking back, 75 mil.
He's worth it. He's worth it.
Maguire 80 mil.
Maguire 80 mil and Van Dijk 75
and
mil.
There's so much of a gap. I know Maguire's good, but there's such a big gap between Van Dijk.
There's no competition there. Anyone in their right mind would pick Van Dijk over Harry Maguire.
Van Dijk, yeah. But then for that summer, for that winter, what Liverpool did so well though, they didn't just sign these players like Van Dijk, Salah. They sold players for big money. They potentially made the best sale in history with Coutinho for a fee rising to 140 million. That was absolutely ridiculous. That fee, 140. Well,
absolutely
I know
madness.
it's about 100 million up front, rising to 140. But if it ever reaches 140, I know if Bayern win the Champions League, it's going to be a weird clause.
It's like an extra 10 million they've got to pay.
I think 10 million out of that. I think there's 40 million of add-ons. I think it's between 5 to 10 million. Add-on stated that if Coutinho wins the Champions League, Barcelona need to pay Liverpool an extra 5 to 10 million. I don't know the exact figure.
And it's crazy that Barcelona have got to pay and win it for Bayern Munich.
And they beat Barcelona.
Yeah, and Coutinho scored 2 goals and got an assist in that game. Which
and the crazy thing is that clause, I don't know who agreed to this, but they didn't state it as a club-specific clause. They stated it as a player-specific clause. So that's absolutely stupid. But
really
Bayern win it, basically. The crazy thing of what could happen there, if Bayern do that and Coutinho wins the Champions League, that 5 million, extra 5 million, 10 million, could actually give Liverpool enough money to buy Thiago this summer, which is so weird. But yeah, the whole thing's a weird circle, and obviously Coutinho scoring against Barcelona.
It's all a big joke on Barcelona at the minute.
But yeah, that fee, absolutely ridiculous. Potentially the best sale of history in terms of the fee, because he's done good since. It's similar to James, like when he went from Monaco to Madrid. He's done good since at that club, but never set the world alight. Hasn't done what he's expected to do. I don't think he's always been a really, really good player, but never been the world class player that he deserves.
Not in that bracket, no.
Not for 140 million.
No,
ever.
definitely not.
It's probably the only player who can probably top it in terms of a better sale for a club is probably Dembele that same year for a similar fee. But yeah, I just don't think.
We definitely got to do a podcast on the worst ever transfer windows, because Barcelona will be up there in a few of them, I'm sure.
But they also sold that year Sacco for 25 million, which was a great fee.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing fee. And Solanke for 20 million, which are absolutely crazy. Actually, no, sorry, Solanke was 18-19. I'm looking at the next year, where they also had a really good year. Maybe probably not worth talking about in this bracket in terms of Alisson being signed, which helped their goalkeeping department, made them a title challenging team, title winning team. But that's probably not the best transfer window in my opinion.
Not as good as 17-18. It was good, but it sort of finished off what 17-18 started.
So the 19 million for Solanke, ridiculous, but they're actually selling Coutinho for, when I go back to that 140 million eventual fee it could rise to, which is probably on 120 at the moment.
Absolutely mental.
Sacco 25 million, even getting like players like Kevin Stewart out for 4 million to Hull, and I think he was just released actually in the summer. So they sold players like that, and these bucks add up. 4 million adds up. So start selling young players like Chelsea done it well for years, selling a lot of their youngsters for
Make a
2,
lot.
3,
Chelsea
four
made a
million.
lot of profit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that whole summer and winter transfer window for Liverpool, that took them to a completely different dimension. That was the window which broke their curse of the Premier League, in my opinion. Because I know they didn't win it till this season, but it was that season where they got the right players to build a title-winning team. And I honestly think Van Dijk and Salah were the most two important
Oh,
players.
they're vital.
Maybe Alisson probably completed it,
Yeah.
but Van Dijk and Salah were crucial components to that.
Liverpool needed Van Dijk and Salah.
And when we talked before about sort of taking teams back to where they needed to be at, we talked like Chelsea when 14-15, we're talking Madrid, we're talking Milan. But with Liverpool, it was different because it was so long since they had won.
Oh, so long since they've been on top.
They won the Premier League. Since I know they won the Champions League 2004-05, but there are a lot of things happened there. It was a year of, I don't want to say flukes, but a lot of things fell into
Ghost
place.
goal.
A lot of things fell into place, let's say, for them to happen. There was never certainly you never saw it coming. Whereas now, Liverpool is one of the best teams in the world. You know that.
But even in that 2004, like you said before, it was a long time since they'd actually won anything before that, and then they didn't win much after that. So it was just like a bit of a fluky sort, not a fluky year. They did sort of deserve it in a way, but it was like a one-off year for Liverpool. Because in mine,
it's only the League Cup they won since in that period between the Champions League in 2004-05 and Champions League winning 18-19.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure it's safe to say in our lifetime, Liverpool, just like Arsenal, are known or have been known as that joke club, that banter club. Fans saying, "Oh, next year's our year," and now they've signed this. Now they've got Van Dijk, Salah, Alisson.
And they're definitely not a joke club now.
They're not a joke club no more. They're back to where they were in the 80s.
Yeah, and they see what they've won since. We talked before about putting teams back in their places, but Liverpool, there was just such a massive gap to where they were previously, and there was a curse. No, basically, it was a curse. I don't think there's any other club which seemed to be as cursed as Liverpool in not being able to win a league. That it didn't seem like it would ever happen, to be honest.
No, that 13-14
season.
COVID
came along, and we thought, okay, it's not meant to be, but to be able to take them back to that position, now they're Champions League winners, Premier League winners, FIFA Club World Cup winners, UEFA Super Cup winners. They won every big competition possible. So I think that year was actually unbelievable. That wouldn't have happened either. That's what I really want to concentrate on Coutinho, because none of that, the big transfers, I don't think Van Dijk would have happened if they didn't sell Coutinho, because they're a club which they do spend money, but they only spend money mostly spend money what they bring in. They spend a bit more than they bring in, but don't really spend much more than what they can sustainably.
Well, just like they're hacking over Thiago now for 30 million, one of the best midfielders in the world, and yet they're thinking, no, we don't want to do that because we can get it for free next summer.
Yeah, because that's what they're a very sustainable club in terms of their buying. Obviously, the club and the club owners FSG have let Klopp spend a lot of money on quite a few players, but most of that money has come in from players sold, and their actual net transfer isn't that much. But that's what I was saying. I don't think the club would have allowed them to sign Van Dijk without Coutinho going for such a large fee, because that gave them so much money to spend on Alisson, on Van Dijk, and on, I think the next year they also signed Keita and Fabinho, and some of that also came from that money. I know Salah that came from a separate, their usual transfer market pot, but in terms of Coutinho, that was such an important transfer for them to be able to get the money to spend to get to that next level. And obviously it was Barcelona's downfall.
Yeah.
Because not only what's happening now, Coutinho knocked them out of the Champions League. Also, last year, when in the Champions League, the players Liverpool signed helped knock
Barca
out of the Champions League, which is ridiculous. Like without Liverpool had Alisson, and he was so important.
Yeah.
That Champions League winning team,
especially in that second leg.
That second leg.
Well, and the first leg really, because it could have been 5 or 6 that Barca scored rather than just a 4.
And would Liverpool sign the 60 million goalkeeper without having 130 million in the bank before then? Probably not. It's like Chelsea at the moment. Would Chelsea be buying Werner? Would they be thinking about Havertz without having 100 million in the bank from Hazard? Probably not. It's all about at the moment with clubs recently, because of financial fair play, except from Man City. We don't want to talk about them. They pay money for lawyers and they seem to get around it, but except from them, clubs are now looking at selling players at big money to be able to buy players at big money. And that's why Chelsea are able to buy at the moment, because they've brought in so much money recently. Liverpool had that little period where they could buy because of Coutinho. So yeah, I think that window just transferred Liverpool, and I think the jump they've made was so big.
Oh, it was huge. It was huge. Turned them from top 4, fighters to title winning contenders.
And they were top 4 challengers, really. That's all they were. They
Yeah,
weren't.
that was it.
They wasn't top 2 before then at
Not
all.
even really top 4. It was top 7 they were challenging
Well,
for.
I think under Klopp they finished 5th or 6th their first year.
Uh,
Maybe the 4th their second year.
it might have been something like that, yeah.
And then when they actually got to Champions League final, I swear they got 4th. I think it was 4th, and then obviously when they did win the Champions League, they got second. They got second place, but I think the year before it was 4th. I'm pretty sure. So that shows the jump in levels, and obviously now it's imaginable to think of Liverpool 5 years ago to what they are now. Like what they were 5 years ago, one of the worst defences in the league.
One of the worst defensive, one of the worst midfields. The only attacker they had was Firmino now, and
it's similar to what Arsenal. Arsenal obviously this season looks like things are changing slightly, but over the last few years, Liverpool where Arsenal have been recently. A very similar leaky defence, an underachieving team.
Banter club.
Yeah, banter club basically. The club which spends a lot has a massive fan base, but he's never really achieved too much for what they should do. And what I've done recently is a huge jump, and I think that's what clubs like Man United are probably looking at to copy that model under Solskjaer to what Klopp's done at Liverpool, because to what he did, it was one of the biggest challenges ever. In the Premier League, to do what he did and take Liverpool
to get Liverpool back to where they want to be,
because there was just such a huge curse. If Gerrard couldn't do it, the best player Liverpool probably have ever had, except for Dalglish. It was such a big task to get them to. To be honest, I never thought Liverpool were going to win the league.
I never thought. I hoped they wouldn't, but they had.
So they did. Have you got any other teams? Do you think?
I don't, Finch. Honestly, I really don't. What about you?
No, I think that's all. But
who are we going to decide on? Who's to be the best? Going through my list now.
But what a podcast has been so far. We've got the live podcast.
The first ever live podcast coming from the Travel Lodge.
Straight from the Travel Lodge to your home. Straight from Travel Lodge. It's our nice studio. Travel Lodge, thank you for providing this for the grand old price of £29 per night.
Oh, it's a tough one. It's a real tough one. Because I'm looking at Man City 2010 season. I'm thinking what he'd done for them years after. I'm looking at Real Madrid 2009, obviously, which is really standing out to me. I'm also looking at Liverpool 2007. Inter Milan as well. Chelsea 2004, 2005.
Man City. I don't really want to include a club who had a transfer window which took them to another level, because that was mainly down to the money they had originally. I know they're good transfer windows for Chelsea, for Man City, for PSG, where they brought them to that another level when they had the money at the beginning. But I'd rather see a club like Madrid to what they did. I think it's a bigger task for them bringing them back, and what Madrid did after.
Compete with Barcelona again.
Yeah, I just think Madrid, what they signed have done since in terms of Ronaldo, Alonso, Benzema. They won 4 Champions Leagues. That's unheard of in the modern era. 4 Champions Leagues in 10 years, or 10 years was it? 4 and 7 years, something like that. So that was actually
4 and 5 years.
Yeah,
it's 4 out of 5. So 4 out of 5 Champions Leagues that Real Madrid won.
And they was all crucial to that. I know Alonso more at the beginning, but Benzema and Ronaldo were crucial to every single one. They were crucial to Real Madrid getting back to the top of La Liga, winning those leagues. I know Kaká wasn't the best player when he was there.
Definitely wasn't like his old former self.
I know they sold Schneider and Robin, but they had to sell players to make room for these other players coming in. Robin and Schneider weren't going to settle for being second place on the bench.
Not being squad players. No, they shouldn't be. They are world class and in their own right. They deserve to be starting and deserve to be winning titles. It just wasn't Real Madrid needed.
And to be honest, if they only signed Ronaldo, still what a winner that would have been. Ronaldo's been potentially the best signing ever for a club. You look at, I know he cost 80 million, but in terms of what he did, what
he cost 80 million, but he probably made them $1 billion.
Yeah, what signings ever made more impact than Ronaldo? You couldn't name one, because you don't count Messi as a signings who's mainly brought through their academy from an early age from Argentina. But what other players
there isn't one.
Impact?
There isn't one. There is not one.
So
Cristiano Ronaldo is the greatest ever signing for a club ever.
I know big bucks, but he sold them for bigger bucks. So.
Yeah, some bigger bucks. And as you before, he cost him 80 million, but he probably made him $1 billion. You know, he brought in a much bigger fan base. You know, United fans would always go.
Portuguese fans.
He's a world class player, one of the best players in the world. Still is. You know, at that point, first, second best, however you want to think about it. But you know, he made Real Madrid the big club again.
And
And
it's just the other, and also Benzema. What a player Benzema is! How many? It's definitely the top 3 strikers since 2009 when he signed.
yeah,
Definitely top
without a
in that
doubt.
period. It's only probably Lewandowski, Suarez, Benzema. I don't really count Ronaldo as a striker overall. I know lately in his career at the moment now he's a striker, but there was a period where he was more of a winger.
Yeah, Lewandowski, Suarez, and Benzema.
Yeah,
They're top 3 strikers since 2010.
not to yeah in that period,
Yeah.
100% consistent strikers in that period. I know we're talking about people who've been strikers since 2010. So Ronaldo probably a striker since 2016. I want to say. Around 2016, I reckon he became a striker.
Yeah, I'd say that.
2015, 2016. Remember the Euros 2016 was more of a striker. Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna go Real Madrid.
I'm saying I think we agree on Real Madrid to
Real
have the
Madrid
best ever transfer window since the year 2000. Well, since year 2000, probably ever.
ever. Yeah,
Let's be honest, the best ever. I can't think of a team like prior to 2000 to have a transfer window like that.
No, the only team which can compete with that, what I can think of, is we're going quite far back and it's a bit different division, but there was a team, you might know them, called Ipswich Town.
I knew it. I knew they were coming.
2018-19, we did sign Will Keane on a free transfer.
Oh no.
Will Keane on a free transfer.
End it there. Cut the cameras.
Caden Jackson, we signed. No, actually, we signed Will Keane on a free transfer on a loan, actually, from Hull. We even better signing, 18-19. And then 19-20, we signed Will Keane on a free transfer. What a signing he was. Grand old total of, I believe, 2 goals in League One.
Awful. Absolutely awful, Finch. I think we need to end it there before, we go into any more detail and we start, trashing this room.
Yeah. Will Keane, hope we don't knock on the door. We're in his hometown.
He better not.
Hope he's still not in Ipswich. I'm sure he's not. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, Real Madrid, the best club to have. Well, the best transfer window ever by a club.
Yeah.
2009, 2010. Benzema, Alonso, Ronaldo, Kaká,
Arbeloa.
Albiol. There's a couple more. But
Yep.
we're talking about Ronaldo, Kaká,
Benzema.
Alonso, Benzema.
Yeah.
What a window. 4 absolutely world beaters in one window.
Absolutely fantastic.
That's the best window ever by a club, in our opinion.
Yeah, if you think any others, leave your comments and we look forward to seeing you guys again.
And that's the live podcast over now.
Peace.